Welcome back to the UK Crypto Podcast. I'm Paula and I'm joined by Matty. Every bull market creates life-changing opportunities, but unfortunately, a lot of people miss them. Not because the opportunities weren't there, but because how people think and feel and react at different points in the market make a massive difference to the outcome of those investments. So today we're going to talk about why most people miss the bull market and what usually goes wrong before price even starts moving. So let's get into it. Before we start, just a quick thank you to today's sponsor, which is Bitchinix. This is one of our exchanges of choice for trading. With the link in the description, you can access enhanced sign-up bonuses and deposit bonuses, which vary depending on the promotion at the time. As always, make sure you understand the risks before you start trading. The link is in the description.
So today's question is this: why do most people miss the bull market?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because, listen, most bull markets begin in boredom.
Absolutely. There's absolutely no doubt at all.
It's difficult looking at the charts when they are literally chopping sideways and everything feels miserable. You look at the fear and greed index and it is just, it just feels depressing, doesn't it? But I don't think people realise what is building in the background. It's not exciting. It is boring at the beginning.
Absolutely. And I think when we are down the bottom end of that market, you have to remember, if you take yourself back to a bear market, right? You're down the bottom, right? Everything's flat. Social media is telling you everything's going down.
Yeah.
You are peak bottom. But you don't know you're at peak bottom when you're at peak bottom.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, it doesn't matter what the figure is, I'll just make a number up, right? Let's say Bitcoin, it was 30 grand, right? Well, everybody was telling us it was going to be 10 grand.
Yeah.
It's the same. You can adjust that numbers for every bull cycle.
Yeah.
For this one particularly at the moment, we're currently in a range of around somewhere around the mid-90s at the moment. We got into, the mid-80s not long ago. So was that the bottom? Because if you remember we were there, chart analysts were telling us what? 65.
Yeah.
65 is the
and this
bottom.
is the problem, isn't it? Because you see the chart analysts on TikTok or wherever you're watching them, and they're going to give you their best case up or down.
Yeah.
And if you are looking at the down and thinking, oh my God, we've still got, 20 grand to go, and all of a sudden you've missed it.
Yeah. And it happens every cycle. There's no doubt. I think you have to go through some cycles to actually learn that. Because when you are there and everybody's telling you it's definitely going lower, well, most people aren't going to be purchasing them because the fear is going to be kicking in. They're thinking they can they'll wait until they can get a lower price.
Yeah.
Or some people go, this is too scary for me. I don't want to make any purchase. And it doesn't matter what the price is. Some people aren't price-led. Now, I'm not price-led either. I buy in zones.
Yeah.
So when I'm purchasing down the bottom, I don't really care what the price is. I actually did a presentation on this yesterday inside the Wolf Pack. I don't care what the price is. Honestly, it is the last thing on my mind when I'm looking at the charts. Yes, I'm looking at the price of what it is right now, but that's just to give me a pinpoint for the day because I'm day trading.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my overall strategy, it makes no difference at all if I woke up this morning and Bitcoin was 95 grand, 90 grand, or 85 grand because my strategy is still exactly the same.
Yeah, and I think it's probably a good time then for the people that are going, well, that's great, Matt, but what is your strategy? What do you do then? If you don't care about the price, what is it you're looking at?
So I'm looking at the fear and greed index in particular.
Yeah.
So when the fear and greed index is telling us that we are in extreme fear, for me that's an accumulation zone.
Yeah.
And I don't care what price it is. In fact, the lower it goes, the better it is. Because if you're buying at price A and then you buy at price B and then you buy at price C, well, your average cost is in the middle, isn't it, in B?
Yeah.
So the more times I buy at a lower price, the lower my average cost comes down. So I'm okay with that. Now, I think there's a lot of experienced crypto guys that understand that. But I think new people, it takes them a while to get that into their head. So I had a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but I had a guy in the Wolf Pack very recently saying, I've got money, I want to buy more crypto, but this is really scary right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not telling you when to buy and when not to, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I explained this exactly what I explained to you now. And he did end up going to purchase a little bit more. Not all his amount, just a little bit. Because I said to him, don't throw all your money in.
Yeah.
You need to do structured buys at the right time throughout that zone.
Yeah.
Then when we get into the neutral zone, that's a time for you just to chill, do something else. Maybe go and do some day trading. Maybe go and learn canoeing. Do something different. Don't worry about your bags. Then when we're at the other end, then we'll look at scaling out with intention, slowly but surely.
But the thing is we touched on dollar cost averaging in one of the other episodes, and I think that's exactly what we're doing. If we're looking at a zone where we want to buy, and your zone is fear or extreme fear, and within that range, you're going to buy at whatever the price is, dependent on the available funds that you've got or whatever you've decided that you're going to do. And if you are buying at incremental levels, then you are going to reduce or average out the cost of the crypto that you're buying at that lower zone. And I think it is scary, especially if you're new in crypto, going, oh, everybody else is worried, everybody else is scared, but actually go and buy some crypto.
I feel
of course
it too.
It feels
even
difficult.
though I've got my strategy, even though I'm experienced, I am human.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going through YouTube or TikTok and all of a sudden I'm getting bombarded with exactly the same prediction, exactly the same price prediction, it even makes me go,
yeah,
really? We need to go and check this out. And then I have to check myself and remember why. I'll go and look at the fear and greed index. And if everybody's telling us that Bitcoin's about to drop 30, 40 grand because a super bear market's en route, and we're currently in extreme fear, which is what was happening around Christmas time, it reminds me why these people are feeling like this.
Yeah.
It reminds me why they're making their content like this. You have to remember they have confirmation bias. So if they're feeling the extreme fear, right, they're getting bombarded themselves, then they're looking at the charts, they're naturally then looking for the bearish scenario.
Yeah.
And then that content's easy to make.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, we are both content creators, but we have to just give people a balanced opinion on this, because we always try and make the best content we can. We try and make sure that we've got a balanced opinion both ways. But there are a lot of content creators out there in this space that are making content that they want to be successful.
Yeah, 100%.
And you are then making content that you know is going to feed into what people want to watch.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when the sentiment is fear or extreme fear, if you're making videos that are about fear and extreme fear, it's going to get more views. But that also, I guess, everybody just needs to take a step back and just try and understand that if you're trading without a strategy, that's going to feel really scary.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the last thing that anybody wants to do is be buying at all-time highs. And we see it all the time, don't we?
Most people, majority of crypto investors are getting it the wrong way round.
Yeah.
So when they're scared, they're not buying.
Yeah.
Now, when Bitcoin hits an all-time high, and everybody's saying that crypto is absolutely going to the moon, right? That's an easy time to purchase, because your dopamine rush, you're getting absolutely flooded with, bombarded with information where people are telling you, this isn't the top, we're going again, we're not the top. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants to talk to you about crypto.
Yeah.
You'll get into a cab and the cab driver will say, what do you do? Now, as you know, you see me this, I avoid telling people I'm into crypto unless they back me into a corner. I'll often say, I do social media. What do you do on social media? Oh, it's boring stuff. I just talk gibberish. I'll go around the houses until they back me into a corner and I'll say it. But what you'll see at all-time high is everybody wants to talk about crypto. So that makes it easy for somebody that's maybe not got many strategies. If they're getting, all of a sudden, social media is now positive.
Yeah.
The news is talking about it. They watch the news at 10 on the mainstream channel and they're going, Bitcoin, all-time high. Market analyst is saying it's going to go to 500 grand this year. It's an easy purchase then. It's the wrong way round. Yeah,
exactly. And the thing is we saw it, didn't we? In the summer last year, everything looked amazing. The charts were going up. There was money to be made leverage trading. Like every single day, there were some really great opportunities. We saw Bitcoin hit an all-time high in the summer. And if you bought in that range during the summer, you're going to be really feeling it now. And it must be really hard if you've bought when Bitcoin was at its highest. It was $125,000 in the summer, and you're now sitting there and you're looking at the charts, and yes, they look a little bit healthier than they were, but there's still going to be a huge amount of people that are looking at their crypto bags and being worried and being scared, and that feeds into the fear as well, doesn't it? So I think dollar cost averaging, using the fear and greed index, and yes, you may have bought at all-time highs, but it doesn't matter, because if you keep buying when it's lower, you're going to reduce down your average cost. Yeah,
and I think if there's somebody that's relatively new, not brand new to crypto, but if somebody's been in it for a little while, if they're looking at their bags right now, as we're recording this video, and some of them are in the red, or maybe all of them in the red, you just need to relax and just realise that actually they're not on their own with this. most people get into crypto when it's exciting and everybody's telling you it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because if you've never bought crypto ever, why on earth would you buy it on the weeks of you saying, well, this is screwed, this is completely fucked?
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably going to half in price over the next year.
What, you mean it's going to zero?
Exactly. That's not the time new people get into crypto.
Yeah.
New people get into crypto when it's booming and everybody's excited.
Yeah.
And you've got every Tom, Dick and Harry on TikTok and Twitter and everywhere else showing screenshots of their portfolio going, look how much I've made.
Yeah.
That's when you get in. So if people are looking at their bags right now and they are in the red, don't worry. It's normal. You got in at a normal time for most people. But that's when you start to evolve.
Yeah.
That's when you start to make your position better by adding to it and it goes down.
Yeah.
And then when it goes up, you start scaling out.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because you've got all of this media that's around us all the time, and we can't move now for content being created, whether that's on mainstream media or whether that is social media. And nobody is interested when everything's really bad. And we see it.
You mean the media?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
And also people watching the content sometimes, we see our views on the content that we make go down when the sentiment's changed, when people are sad.
I've got a stat for you. So I got a stat. It came from a YouTube analyst.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're saying that over the October, November and December, crypto content was at a 5-year low for viewership because we were in. And do you know what? Because we were in extreme fear.
Yeah.
Now this also ties in with this. This is another stat that I've learned only the other day. I shared it with the Wolfpack the other day. We were in the extreme fear zone for more days in a row since records began.
Wow.
So over that period was the longest time to be in the extreme fear zone since records began. And I don't know when the records began, if I'm honest, but it's got to be at least 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
So it is literally the longest period it's ever been. That tied in with content going on. I saw it on my views as well.
Yeah.
And then bang, there's a pump. What happens to the videos? They go up every single time. But that's just the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Sometimes if we are in a bit of a negative spell, do people really want to consume themselves with content about feeling sad?
Yeah, and it's difficult, isn't it? Because you kind of just shy away, and that is human nature. And I think that fear that is created both by the media and then by the price, because they do go hand in hand, is probably what stops people taking this action early on. So if you are scared, are you going to be investing right now? If you've never invested before in crypto, is that going to be the time that you take a step in? Probably not for a lot of people. And there's probably a lot of people out there that are actually missing some really great opportunities.
Absolutely. We've just had one of the best opportunities I believe we're going to get in the whole of 2026.
Yeah.
So that back end of 2025, leading into the first week of 2026.
Yep.
I believe it's not going to be long. We're going to look back at that and go,
Yeah, because actually potentially,
for sure.
and we don't know. We never know where the bottom is.
We don't know. We haven't got a crystal ball.
We never know where
the
top is, and trying to time that is impossible. You would end up making yourself incredibly sad if you were aiming for the tops and the bottoms. But actually, we've seen some people in our community that have waited for certain prices and have not bought, and potentially it might not go down to those prices again. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks. I wish I had a crystal ball.
It's one of the reasons I made that section in the course. I literally made that because I think people get so obsessed with going, if it gets to X price, I'm going to buy. Okay, but what if it missed it by 2 cents? You're telling me you're not going to buy it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Which is why you need to buy it. For me, my method, buy in a zone, not a price.
Yeah.
And then you completely eradicate the pressure of waiting for it just to wick into one position on one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it might never get there.
Yeah.
It might never get there. And
you might miss it.
Yeah, you might miss it, exactly.
I mean, unless you've set a trigger order for it to buy at a certain price, life takes over. You might not see the chart when it wicks down to a certain price and you wanted to buy in. So I think, you've got to come at this with a strategy, and you just touched on it there. And I guess for new listeners, it's probably really important to talk about. You made some content that was initially specifically for the Wolfpack community, and it's evolved beyond that, hasn't it? So maybe it's worth just touching on that and just giving people an idea of the kind of strategies we're using and how they can access some of that information.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's open to everybody. So as we spoke about before, I made this originally but from a request from multiple people inside the Wolfpack saying, I've got some friends or family that want to learn about crypto. They're not ready to come into a full-time community yet, but if you've got anything out there, they can learn some stuff by. And I was like, well, I'll make you something. And then as I was planning it, I think I actually recorded the first video and I thought, why am I doing this just for them? This doesn't make sense. This is actually really good. And I'd never...
Even if I do say so myself.
Well, do you know what it was? It's because I teach it by talking it.
Yeah.
I'll teach it on a live stream, but I'd never put it down in a video format.
Yeah.
And I literally don't think I even completed the first video of recording it. I sort of stopped myself and I was like, I need to rejig this so it's not just to Wolfpack members. This needs to be to everybody. So yeah, I literally teach people from the beginning. It's called the Free Crypto Lift-Off course, and it is 100% free. And I made sure it's 100% free. You're not going to get halfway through the course and all of a sudden you're going to say, right, pay me $500 for the rest of the secrets. We're not going to do that, okay? There's too many people doing that, so it is totally free. And it literally teaches the exact strategies that I use to make money in multiple bear markets and bull markets. But inside that course, one of the most important things is about mindset.
Yeah.
Now, I know that sounds very hippie and very modern and all the rest of it, and I'm far from a hippie, although I did spend a bit of time living on a hippie camp, but that's a whole different podcast.
We do not have time for that today.
But it's not... What the fuck was I saying?
Have you forgotten?
I've forgotten, yeah.
Oh my God, we're talking about the strategies that you've put into the free crypto
mindset.
lift-off course.
The mindset, that was it. So yeah, the mindset stuff is really important, and a lot of people don't realise how important it is, because your emotional decisions will cost you money.
Well, 100%, because you don't see these big institutions worrying about, oh my God, we're going to have to get out because the price has just changed.
Do you think BlackRock give a shit about a 5% pullback on Bitcoin?
Exactly.
They couldn't give a toss, mate, because they're buying in zones.
Exactly.
That's why quite often people will go, oh, maybe the market's going to turn around. Well, why is that? Because this monster institution has just bought 100 million worth of Bitcoin. Mate, that wasn't triggered by a price.
Yeah.
That's been triggered by a section of the market that they believe this is a relatively safe zone to buy now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Because also they're not looking at short term.
No,
these are always long-term investments, because if you think about the kind of fees that are probably attached with them buying at those levels, then they've got to factor in that as well. So if they wanted to make short-term investments, then it's a bit backwards, really. So yeah, we've got to just try and take that emotion out of trading as much as possible, which is what your trading course actually helps teach people to do.
Yeah, 100%.
And if people want to access it, where do they
they can go to cryptowolfpack.co.uk.
Awesome.
So I think as well, one of the things that we teach in there is about not having that fear.
Yeah.
Not having that fear to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think it cripples some people, especially if they've made mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
They will then become fearful at the next opportunity that they see, because they'll be thinking, I don't want to repeat that mistake.
Yeah.
Right? And because they're obsessed about price.
And I mean, that is completely understandable, because a lot of people are using their money for their family in the hope that they can create a better life moving forward. And that aspiration and desire is really ingrained within us, isn't it? And if you've worked really hard for your money and you're choosing to invest that in something, and then all of a sudden your investment halves, well, you're going to be really gutted about that, and potentially feel like, well, actually, maybe I'm not just jeopardizing my future, maybe this is about the family, and it becomes more intertwined, doesn't it? It's so, there is so much emotion led with that.
Unless you built Bitcoin in August 2025, nobody in the history of Bitcoin has ever lost money unless they've sold it too soon.
We won't talk about that either.
No, that's a whole different podcast. That's a completely different podcast. Yeah, thanks for that. So I might have made a boo-boo once upon a time.
Once?
Okay, twice.
Twice, yeah, definitely twice, yeah. But I think you're right. I mean, that fear of making a mistake and feeling like it's all on you. And again, that kind of feeds back into the communities, doesn't it? Because when we first set up the Crypto Wolfpack community, it was never... We underestimated how important the community was going to be. And I know that probably sounds a little bit backwards, because it is a community. Mm-hmm. We thought it was going to be a space where people were just going to talk about trading, or were just going to look at the signals, or were just going to look at the prices. But it's become more than that. It's become people supporting each other. 100%. And that is what I think a lot of people that are sat on their own, particularly new people into crypto, never been through a cycle before, getting really worried because they've made what they feel like is a mistake.
Yeah.
you need to talk to other people that have also made mistakes, because we've all been there.
If you've got nobody to bounce off, then you've got nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think crypto can be a very lonely space unless you're very lucky enough to have your best friend into crypto. And that's where a crypto community comes into its own. As long as you've got the right supportive community, because there are crypto communities out there where it's just full of idiots. Like, I've seen them. There are some really good ones out there as well. Not just ours. There's some really good ones out there. I've got friends that are content creators from all over the world, and so I've been into many of their communities, and some of them are really good, and some of them are absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
So it's about finding the right one, and for me, you need to find one with find your people.
Yeah, exactly.
People that are like you.
Exactly. And also have that support, because when you've got people that it's just about a competition, or where people make you feel like you're a fool because you've made a mistake, we need to just step away from that, because you put enough pressure on yourself as it is. And then there is nothing worse than those FOMOing into green candles.
Yeah. I mean, it is the number one, isn't it? Listen, we've all done it. I did it with ICP, and I'm not talking about back in the day. I'm talking about 2020. What year are we in now? 2026. So this was like, I don't know, maybe, March, something like maybe April 2025.
Yeah.
Like, I've been tracking this for a while, thinking it's going to go. It's going to go in a minute. Very soon this is going to go. And I held off buying it. And then I got a big green candle. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to miss it. I literally broke all the rules that I set for myself.
Yeah.
I broke them in one foul swoop. Bang. I still think I'm in the red now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, I'm not perfect. I'd never portray to be perfect, right? All I know is I've got a method that works. That trade in particular didn't work because I didn't use my method.
Yeah. I
impulse purchased.
Yeah.
I got excited. Are you all right?
Yeah.
I impulse purchased. I got excited. I threw all the rules out the window because I got excited.
Yeah.
And I think everybody does that. And anybody that says they've never done that, in my opinion, isn't really into crypto.
No.
Because I think at some point
everybody's made a mistake, absolutely. And whether it be a spot buy or a leverage trade. But the reason why I know that you don't know whether or not it's in the red is because it's all the way down the bottom of the list on your wallet, so you don't have to look at it anymore.
So I play mind games with myself. I think it's worth explaining this. I play mind games with myself. So if I have a crypto, which is a long-term hold, which is in the red, I rejiggle the order of what they're in so it's down the bottom so that I don't see it. And the reason I do that is so that I don't get annoyed and sell it in a loss, right?
Yeah.
So I like if it's a long-term hold and it's in the red, then I leave it down there.
Yeah.
And that method works for me. Some people might think that's a bit weird. Right, I'm a weird bloke sometimes. I have to play. I have to play mind games with myself, but it works for me. I almost like put it to the back of my mind. It doesn't matter. Forget about it, because when the market turns and it goes up, we're good. And I think, was it Bonk? I did the same thing with. I think I did it with Bonk one year as well, didn't I? Where I bought it at a peak and then it dropped. I did the same thing. I left it down, and then I left it there for God knows how long, and then got it gone.
Yeah, but I think that you've got.
I refuse to sell them.
Find a strategy that works for you.
I refuse to sell them in a loss.
Protect your mindset. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And. It's really tough, but this FOMO in we've got to just try as best we can to avoid that situation, because it's the situation that is ultimately going to not allow you to invest as much of your money into the right projects as possible.
Yeah.
And I know that we bang on about the fear and greed index all the time, but the truth is, if we look back at the fear and greed index, it doesn't sit at extreme fear forever.
No. And it feels like it at the time.
It certainly does, especially with this period where we've been in that for so long.
Do you know what always amazes me? And I wait for it to happen. I never mention it on social media because I'm doing it now on a podcast, to be fair. So maybe I'm letting the cat out of the bag. But especially on TikTok in particular. So I never make these statements, but I wait for it to happen. Once you've been in fear for a little while, all of a sudden you start seeing the comments. As soon as this is back in the green, I'm out. I've had enough of this. I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
And the obvious answer for me is you won't.
Yeah.
Because your emotions are leading how you're feeling now.
Yeah.
You'll still be just as emotional when you're at the top, and you'll think it's going to go to the moon.
Yeah.
And you won't.
Yeah. And then you're going to kick yourself
you
because you'll miss the top.
They won't do it.
You'll miss the top, and you won't have sold what you'd anticipated, and then you'll hate crypto forever because you're not working with a strategy. You're literally letting your emotions lead. And I guess it kind of feeds into risk management, because risk management often disappears when the confidence returns.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I did it with ICP.
Yeah.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
I'm using a live example about myself. So I'm not here judging everybody else.
Yeah.
Me too. My confidence returned. the confidence in that particular token returned. I'd been tracking it for a long time, trying to plan an entry on it, particular, or waiting for confirmation for an entry. It never came. The market gave me confidence because it started moving. I FOMO'd in. Bad mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad mistake.
And I mean, we see
that is a
all
classic,
the time,
typical.
don't we?
That is a classic, typical crypto mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Because exit plans are rarely made in advance. People, especially if they're emotion-led, will be hoping for the next phase. We'll be seeing the green candles, and we miss the points where we would have sold and been really happy with that. And I think it doesn't really matter whether or not you're leverage trading or whether you're spot trading. You've just got to decide in advance before you buy that token, before you put on that trade. Actually,
what is the plan?
What is your plan?
Is it a time length of
where
time?
Are you going to be happy?
Yeah. Is it a price?
Yeah, exactly. And I
don't think it matters what it is, as long as they've got a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter whether they're going to go, I want to hold for 5 years.
Yeah.
I want to hold for 12 months.
Yeah.
I want to hold for 4 years and then have a look at it again and make an assessment then.
Yeah.
It could well be you're going to go, I bought it for X. When it gets to Y, I'm going to sell it. Perfect. Well done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But most people don't. They'll be emotional in these decisions.
Exactly.
And they'll do what feels right at the moment.
Yeah.
But as we're talking about the fear and greed index, people, how they're feeling in the moment is often the exact opposite of what they need to do to make money.
Oh, 100%. And it was really interesting because there was a conversation going on in the community, and we'd got a community member who was getting really overwhelmed because he was putting on trades, losing trades. Although he was making money, he then wasn't making the right decisions as to when to close the trades, and then was ending up losing money. And one of the other community members stepped in, and I think I want to add a little bit to this because everybody's size of what they're trading on is different.
Yeah.
But this was just a normal guy making trades every day. And one of the other community members said to him, would you be happy if you made $30 a day? And he went, And then he went, well, what does that add up to over a month? And the other guy kind of sat back and had to think about it. And he said, well, would you be happy if you'd have made that money over the month?
Yeah, near $1,000
yeah,
for
exactly.
the month. Yeah.
And he went, actually, I would be really happy if I'd made $900 for a month. And he said, that's £30 a day.
Yeah, or £53 a day, but yeah.
So why are you chasing all these big, massive trades if actually what you'd be really happy
so I was on that live
was
stream.
$1,000 a month?
I was on that live stream, and what I actually said to him at the end was, when you get to 30, it's actually 33, but when you get to $33 a day, stop trading.
Yeah.
Because what he was doing is he was winning in the mornings, then over trading, and then losing.
Yeah.
He was saying, just stop. He goes, are you happy with $1,000 a month? He's like, yeah. He went, then stop trading at $30 a day.
Yeah.
He went, turn it off. Go and do something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
That's absolutely right, yeah.
I'm going to mention who that person is. It's Glenn.
Yeah.
It's Glenn, one of the original Wolfpack members. One hell of a character, let me tell you now. I've got some stories about him. Jesus.
but do you know what?
He was so good.
Such good advice.
So good advice what he said.
Such good advice, because I think sometimes the numbers in crypto don't feel real, especially if you're leverage trading, because you put on a trade and you do. Even if your trade is $100, for a lot of traders, $100 is not going to sound like a lot of money.
No.
But if I gave you $100 and then I put it in the bin, you'd feel like that was a lot of money. So, and sometimes that is what is happening with traders, especially new traders, because you go in at trading and you don't have the experience. It takes time. It's like everything when you're learning something new and you make mistakes. And some of the trades are successful, and then you feel like you've cracked the matrix and you are the genius of trading.
I think you've hit on something there, and actually I want to expand on it a little bit, which is talking about the amount of money that people should trade, right? Because I get asked this all the time, and I'm just going to explain about something that happened last night on a stream, right? So there was me. I'm actually not going to mention his name because he hasn't given me permission to talk about him. So you'll know who this is, though. So there's a few of us on the stream. The American guy.
Yeah.
With the beard. Yeah. So we were talking about the level of trades that we'd won this week for the last couple of weeks, right? And I don't mind sharing on here. I was talking about in the region of 12 or 13,000 US dollars I was up, right? Now, he'd made $16,000 yesterday.
Yeah.
It wasn't yesterday because of where it's the day before, right? And I could see somebody's face like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Now, the balance of that was yesterday, that same person lost $4,500.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a balance to it there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the reason I'm mentioning these numbers here is because quite often people say to me, how much do I need to trade?
Yeah.
It's an impossible question to answer. And the reason you can't answer that is because we don't know your situation. For instance, the levels that I've just mentioned there for me and that American guy, to some people will be tiny.
Yeah.
In fact, there are people inside the crypto wolf pack, which to them, those numbers we've just mentioned are tiny. Right, but there's people in the crypto wolf pack and out there in the wider crypto world that those numbers will be huge. So when somebody says to me, and it's one of the number one questions for people to ask me, how much do I need to trade on a weekly basis? Mm-hmm. You can't answer it.
No.
Because what you need to do is you need to make sure your bills are paid.
Yeah.
You got food on the table.
Yeah.
Your family's happy. Your kids are dressed well. That you're going on fun times, going out for doing all the things you need to with your partner or your husband or your wife, whatever it will be. Then look how much disposable income you've got. Then how much out of that disposable income do you want to put towards something that is the highest of all risk assets possible?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, I don't know what you earn. I don't know what you've got in the bank.
Yeah.
So I think people need to make their own decisions. What I would say is never trade with anything that you're not prepared to lose.
Yeah.
Ever.
Every trade is a risk.
Ever.
Yeah.
Because if you do and it goes wrong, you're going to be heartbroken.
Well, not even that, Matt. I think there's a lot of people that it just adds so much pressure. And people can't cope living under pressure like that. It's not good for your mindset. It's not good for your family. It's just a bad situation to be in. And we've just got to urge people to protect themselves as much as possible, because putting yourself in a situation where you're losing money that you actually really need for your family, it's a really difficult situation, because the money sometimes doesn't feel like real money, and it's easy just to look at the numbers.
I'm going to be honest, I can sometimes be guilty of that. Sometimes I have to, especially because I'm working in dollars and I'm British. Sometimes I have to remind myself what that is.
Yeah.
It's almost like sometimes I get a mental disconnect from that.
Yeah.
And I know when I've got that, and when I do have that, so I've got an app on my phone, which is a currency Converter, thank you. Currency converter, permanently set to US dollars to Great British pounds. And every now and again, I'll just type it in, even though I know roughly what it is, because I work in dollars every day.
Yeah.
It's something that I do just to check myself, right? So, for instance, if I'm in a 4, 5, 6 grand trade, it's going the wrong way. And with my method, I will add more money to bring the average price down, right?
Yeah.
I'm on about leverage trading here. I'm not talking about spot holding. I'm on about leverage trading, yeah? Quite often, I will then go, just take that 2 minutes. Right? Because with my method, it's not about a precise entry with it. I'm not talking high leverage trading where you've got to get in on that 1 second.
Yeah.
I might have a day to decide this. Quite often I'll do that. I'll go and type it in so I can see it in pounds and pence.
Yeah.
Exactly what that figure is, just to give myself that moment. And the reason I do that is because there has been times where willy-nilly I've just gone bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to, that's my coping mechanism to combat my own flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because you're right, sometimes those numbers on the screen don't seem real.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't seem real.
100%. And I think it kind of all fits in, and we're going to go a little bit off topic by me saying this, but
That's
I think
fine.
it kind of fits in with the whole idea of, when you go out on a night out with your bank card and you just keep tapping it at the bar,
mate.
and you don't even consider that it's actually real money at the end of the day.
I remember my first credit card. Honestly, what was I, 18 years of age or whatever it was, 18, 19, mate. And honestly, in my head, this is free money.
Yeah.
Right? It's unlimited money.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, you still learn that lesson.
Yeah.
And it's the same with leverage trading.
Exactly.
The only difference with that is that you have physically put the money in the first place, which is different to a credit card, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those numbers, they can just you can become immune to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes just give yourself, well, listen, you don't have to do what I do. It's just a reality, just something that I do myself, and it works. Just give myself a little reality check.
One of the things I actually think is really interesting with a lot of the exchanges is you don't have to necessarily pick a number in terms of the amount of dollars you're going to put on a trade. You can actually pick the size of the pot, of the percentage.
The percentage of the pot, actually.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. Now,
Yes.
I don't teach that. I don't teach that, right? And the reason I chose not to is because when I was coming across people going, well, how much is that worth?
Yeah.
So I reversed it,
Yeah.
and then I got people to talk about a pounds and pence or a dollar and cents.
Yeah, I mean,
figure.
say, for example, you've got $1,000 that you want to put into your trading account, and you've decided that a sensible amount to put on, I'm just going to use a figure. Guys, don't quote me on this. Don't rush out and do it, but whatever is best for you. But say you put...
$2,000.
As a percentage, say you put like 10% of your pot on your trade, that's $100. you might lose that entire $100 because your trade has liquidated. Well, if you then go back to that and the next time you trade, you put 10% on, you're going to put $90 on.
Yeah.
And you're still going to feel like you're putting 10% of your pot on. And
I feel like you are.
Well, it's like you take away that little bit, because if you chase that and you've lost your $100 and the next time you put in another $100 on, well, actually, you're putting a bigger percentage of your pot on the next time because you've lost money before.
100%.
So it's about protecting your capital as much as it is about making money in crypto. So I think it's got two kind of uses there, because it's taking away that number blindness, but it's also allowing the pot of money that you've invested to stretch further.
I mean, you've nailed it something there, because I think staying in the game is more important than trying to make fast money.
Yeah.
Because you could start off with $1,000, $2,000, right? And you can go and put it all on one trade.
Yeah.
And you might win.
Yeah. It's a bit like being on the casino.
You might have a small win.
Yeah.
You might have a massive win.
Yeah.
But there's so many times you can do that until you go bust.
Yeah.
So actually using the percentage of your pot on every trade is a sensible route. Now, I don't mind. This is probably the first time we've ever spoken about this openly on any form of public platform. But we're part of a team that is working on an automation project at the moment.
It's very exciting.
It's very, very exciting.
Very exciting.
And nailing down the maths of that percentage pot for maximum profits for minimum risk, or managed risk anyway, is something that we've really put a lot of work into. Now, we've nailed it. This isn't the place to talk about that. But we've spent as long working out that part as we have at where to take the profits.
Yeah.
Because it's massive. Because if you're protecting your capital, number one, then you make money.
Yeah.
Because if you try and make money without protecting your capital, at some point you'll wipe yourself out.
Exactly. And you've got to stay in the game to be able to learn what these cycles look like.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you're out, then how on earth do you learn? It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. And I think that if we kind of just take a step back and kind of get back onto what we were talking about earlier, you've got this market full of people that are fearful, and then they end up exiting earlier than they had intended to because they're just scared. And then you've got greed that makes you exit late.
Then they'll have that emotional whiplash, won't
Yeah.
they? Where if they've had a bad experience at some point, they find it difficult to come back from it.
Yeah, exactly.
They find it then difficult to... Some people will bounce back immediately.
Yeah.
Some people will come back in a positive mindset. Some people will then revenge trade. That's the worst.
Oh,
That's even worse than the people stepping out.
But the pullbacks feel like crashes in those moments, don't they? Because
What do you mean?
Well, when the market's going up and it looks like it's...
Oh, and you have a
it's gonna-
normal correction. You feel like the world fell apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that emotional whiplash leads to incredibly bad decisions.
I love TikTok on those days. So let's say week 1, all-time high.
Yeah.
Week 2, normal pullback. End of week 2, market's fucked.
Yeah.
That's what social media's telling you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you taking the piss? I remember seeing content where people saying the market's absolutely fucked and we was 117,000 US dollars. I made a video on it and I'm like, are you lot dizzy?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? If I'd have offered you $117,000 by this month and I'd have said that to you 12 months ago, you'd have laughed at me and said it was never going to happen.
Yeah.
Now we're here and you're
Yeah.
making content saying the market's screwed.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We're in a bear market.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, how are people that are new into crypto ever going to be able to manage that? Because it's so hard, isn't it?
It's a minefield.
It's so hard.
You've just got it. Do you know what you got? You've just got to follow the people that you get a good feeling about.
Yeah.
Follow them. If they start saying some weird things, just put them in the bin.
Yeah, because strategy hopping is going to completely destroy your consistency.
Yeah.
You've got to just decide on your plan. And yes, use the content creators to give you information about what's going on, but doesn't mean they should be changing your strategy.
Do you know, can I tell you something?
Yeah, go on.
I can't name them, but it's another content creator. And I subscribe to everything they do. Purely because I really enjoy watching how wrong they are. They're actually quite a nice person, but they're painfully wrong. And I would never out them unless they did something bad to me.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
never do that. But I literally, virtually every other day, I'll go and check what they're saying just so I can be like, nice. Because they literally make content depending on how the market feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do it all the time. It's like, I mean, if they earned $1 for every time they were wrong, they'd be so rich.
Yeah, and it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult because sentiment gets views.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess it depends on how you define their job. Is their job to be able to be the best content creator and get the best views? Because if so, then they're probably ticking the boxes.
Do you know what, though? Listen, as a content creator, we've got to be honest. Getting views is an addiction.
Yeah.
Like, you can't help it because views equals attention, and then the attention will end up turning into good experiences, especially when you run communities and stuff like that. So I get it. I do get it, which is why sometimes I'll make bait videos. So sometimes I'll make bait videos, say, I don't know, say like XRP.
Oh, you love an XRP bait
So what
video.
I'll make videos talking about the XRP haters. Rather than, it's got nothing to do with the market. And like, by the way, guys, if ever you see me making one of them, I'm bored, right? I'm bored. I've made my money for the day. I've got nothing left in the diary. There's not a lot going on in the market. There's no political news going on. And I literally will do a hit piece on XRP haters because they flood. They can't help it. So listen, so I get it. I get the need for the views and I get it. So I only make those videos because I think, that'll do some decent numbers. I don't do that thinking, that's really quality content. when I'm finding Jeff from Bolton and I'm saying, Jeff, you absolute sausage, what are you talking about? So I do get it.
Yeah, you just got to, it's just about protecting yourself though, isn't it? And just making sure that your strategy is protected as much as possible. Because the reality is everybody misses some of the moves. You don't have to be in every single move. Crypto's 24/7. It's not like the stocks.
You can't have all the moves. You have to sleep.
You have to sleep.
Unless you've got the automation.
Yeah, exactly. But staying in the market is so important, protecting your capital, and just learning how to be in these markets and just learning how it feels when the pullbacks come, when the reversals come, when the market's move in a way that nobody's expecting it. I mean, nobody was expecting those massive wicks that we had back in October.
That was insane.
It was the most fun day of trading I've ever had.
I mean, but it was not for many people.
Well, I know, yeah. And I didn't actually realise that until I spoke to more people, because we made a lot of money in the Crypto Wolf Pack. But it's just, I think, as kind of a bit of a roundup really for this episode, I think preparation beats prediction in every single cycle. We're never going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Even these big institutions that put on these big trades, they're not always going to achieve the things that they want to achieve. But what you've got to remember is they're not leveraging their entire pot of money. And we just have to play the percentage games. We have to make sure we've got great risk management. Because the more we're in this and the more we understand how it feels, the more we make sure that we don't pickle our own brains because we can't think about anything else apart from the charts, and the more we protect our capital, then actually we've got a really good chance, because crypto is such a lucrative investment if you can get it right.
Absolutely. And we started off this podcast by asking the question, why do so many people miss the bull market?
Yeah.
And the reason is because they freeze.
Yeah.
They freeze all the things we've just spoken about, all compound into one moment. Yeah. Don't forget, the start of a bull market is in a bear market.
Yeah.
It's at scary times. Everybody's telling you the market's dead. Everybody's telling you the Bitcoin's going to zero. Everybody's telling you the crypto's dead. Then it's at that moment there that people freeze, their emotions take hold, and it's natural. Our bodies are built to defend us from something scary.
Yeah.
Like the
Keep
bear.
us alive, yeah.
Like the bear that's in the woods that wants to eat us, right? Your body will go, whoa, freeze. You need to make don't do a rash decision. You might get eaten.
Yeah.
Right? So those emotions that are running through our bodies are designed to do that, to keep us alive. But unfortunately, those emotions kick in these real life situations. So what I would say to people is to avoid missing the bear market. What I would say to people is to avoid missing the bull market is stay in the game.
Yeah.
Keep your mind focused on what it is. Don't listen to the hype at the top. Don't listen to the huge negativity at the bottom. Stay with a balanced point of view and buy in the fear zones and sell in the greed zones.
Stick to your strategy.
Stick to your strategy.
It's been awesome. Another amazing episode of this podcast. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Guys, if you don't already follow us on our socials, I am at Paula Talks Crypto. I'm
at Milkshake Matty on YouTube. On X, I am Milkshake Matty X. And on TikTok, I am Milkshake Matty official.
Well, just to confuse everyone.
Yeah, just to confuse everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. Please remember to go and check out the link in the description for Bitchinix if you want to take advantage of the enhanced sign-up and trading bonuses. And don't forget to check out all the other episodes of the UK Crypto Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.